everybody, and welcome to Pocono Race right here in Pocono Mountain. First of the races that we're going to see here. Pretty much a couple points to get here, so it's going to be very interesting. One of the interesting features I actually kind of like from NASCAR when they had these dual races, which is very interesting. Instead of having qualifying, actually, what's going to happen is the race number 3, the field is going to be from the field to go to the race to the race. Boys come to Budweiser, all players come up to that 4 and 7. With that kind of information, points are on the line in both these races, but also the field gets inverted for the second race. What's got to be going through these drivers' minds?
I think first off, if you've got good starting track position for this first duel, your thought is win, because you know that you're going to more than likely be starting at the back for the second duel. But yeah, it makes it very interesting because talk about that there's a lot of points on the line with 2 race point totals being paid out today. It's going to be very difficult at a track like Pocono to be able to maximize those points because track position is so key here. Really, if you think about it, the only way that we usually see drivers be able to gain track position is through strategy on pit road. Very difficult to make passes here. 3 different corners, entirely different degrees of banking in all 3 of those corners. It's going to be really interesting to see how the chess match works out here today. But I think if you're up at the front here in Duel 1, you're wanting to get that checkered flag because whether you win or finish 10th, you're still going to be starting at the back of the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's got to be pretty insane on that one too. Usually we'll see drivers like to hesitate a little bit if they know the field's going to be inverted for another race, but with points on the line here, it's pretty much impossible to do that because you need to get the maximum points out there. And Seth, speaking of points, you've got the points list. Give us our update.
We got Cole Deaver still. He's been very, very consistent. Of course, 2 victories. He's coming off a top 10 run last week as well. He currently has 6 top 10s on the season in 9 races. He's got 34 points in hand over Dylan Matthews, who's had an incredible rookie season. Third in points, you've got former winner in Seth Cole. Carson Gum, our Daytona 500 winner, 2-time winner on the season, is 4th. It's really close, actually, for second in the standings. 2 points to separate second through 4th. Trent Dunham there in 5th position. He's a total of 56 points back. And then you got Mark Schoenberg, Jessica Shelton, Charles Sanford, R.J. Bishop, and William Brock. They were all looking for their first wins in the season, but they're inside the top 10 in points. The 2 drivers in particular that I'm going to be keeping an eye on here today, Michael, we talked about the struggles that they've had the last couple of weeks. Matt McIntyre, our winner from, I believe it was Homestead, if I recall correctly. He is currently 23rd in points. He is only 3 points ahead of that 25th in the standings cutoff line. And Nick Gunther suffered a DNF dead last week. He dropped 9 spots and is that cut line driver. These are 2 drivers in particular, both Mustang drivers, that I'm expecting to see try and capitalize here today on the 2 race points payouts that are going to take place at Pocono.
Absolutely. And with that being said, we're going to go track side now, get the opening ceremonies underway, and we'll get this race started in just a few minutes.
And now, to deliver those most famous words in motorsports, please welcome our Grand Marshal, the CMO and Executive Vice President of the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau, Brian Bossett.
Welcome, race fans. We're so happy to have you back in the Pocono Mountains. Drivers, start your engines!
Fired home, fired up, you ready? Fired up.
What a weekend it's.
The engines are fired here at Pocono, and Seth, this is going to be very, very fun to watch here. I can't wait for these drivers to get up to speed. Like you said, it's a little difficult to pass here, but once these drivers get into a rhythm, it's going to be, you know, we could definitely see it, especially if the tires start to wear out.
We definitely can, but to your point, with it being difficult to pass, the first, I would say maybe, well, we'll go 3 to 5 opening laps, I think is where you're going to see drivers at their most aggressive because the field is all close together. It's the best opportunity to be able to pick up multiple spots per lap. As you mentioned, as these tires start to wear down, we're going to start to see maybe 1v1 battles. So it goes all of a sudden from a frantic frenzy to get positions to methodical working your way through the field. As I just noticed, yeah, the 12.
RJ Bishop having an issue already with his car.
Trying to get to the inside, but he's on the outside line. William Brock not letting him down there onto the apron.
RJ will eventually work his way down to pit road here. Obviously, it looked like a tire issue, so something that might not put him out of the race, but maybe something that they can just change on pit road when they take the green flag. So already a setback for RJ. We'll see if it's possible he could stay on a lead lap, get a quick caution.
Yeah, Pocono's 2.5 miles in length. Usually, if you make a green flag pit stop, you can complete it before the field comes around to put you a lap down, but to the case of RJ Bishop, he's going to have to hope for an early yellow because he's going to want to have as many laps as possible to gain back all that track position he lost. Remember, he was going to roll off from, what would that have been, the 8th position, I think?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, man, that's a lot of spots and a lot of points that he's losing right there. Now, granted, he's 9th in the point standings, but you know, 9th in the point standings is a lot better than heading into the second dual race outside of the top 10 in points. So we'll keep an eye and see if the 12 is able to get a little bit of luck here.
Yep, pace car dives in, coming through, waiting for the restart zone. Green flag is out. We're underway here at Pocono.
Ford's on the front row with Fitzwater and Rodriguez. Kyle Matthews right there in the 5, pulling off in the 3rd position. He had a good run last week, gained a few spots in the standings, trying to knock on the door of the top 20. And remember back to last season, the struggles that Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet had. So it's doesn't seem like it's a better season, but statistically, Kyle Matthews having a much better season.
That's true. And also, let's not forget last year's Pocono races where he, I think it was the first race, he had a brilliant strategy going, but unfortunately, I think he either ran out of gas or had to pit with like a lap. They didn't get the caution they needed or something, and he ended up having to pit right before the checkered flag.
Yeah, it was almost brilliant strategy, and it would have maybe advanced him into the playoffs if he had been able to get that checkered flag. So you got to think that's in the back of his mind here today, one season later, coming back to the tricky triangle.
Lap 1 completed. Fitzwater leads it. Look at these cars kind of fan out behind him, trying to get all the runs they possibly can, keeping an eye here on our race leader. The fastest car on the race check right now was Fitzwater. Had time by, but this close, I guess you could say 300s off Madeline Crenshaw in that 7 car.
Yeah, and I think that for the 7, it would be draft that would have led to her lap time. For the 4, it would have been clean air and being able to attack the corners without having to adhere to somebody else's braking zone, plus not having dirty air going into the corner. It's really interesting when you consider a track as big as Pocono. Air can help you and it can hurt you. On the straightaways, it's tremendous ability to draft and get that slipstream for optimal straightaway speed. But when you get into the corner, if you've got a car in front of you and it takes the air off the nose, especially over there in the low bank turn 3, gets the car really tight and it wants to travel up to that outside wall.
Well, we have a battle. We had a change for second place, and that person also put down the fastest lap of the race so far. That is Marcus Schuenberg in the 42 for Legacy Motor Club.
And Marcus Schuenberg, if I recall correctly, finished third, I want to say, last week. He was in the top 5. I think he was in the top 3. He gained 7 spots in the standings last week. I mean, he's had an amazing, this I believe is, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is his second full-time season in the series, and he's 6th in overall points. He's really burst on the scene.
That's true, he really did. Second full-time season. He missed out last season, is back again this season. He has one win in his career at Talladega during his rookie season. And look, the Hendrick Motorsports cars battling for second and third.
Kyle Matthews and Bern Oliveira. Oliveira needs a good run here today. 37th in overall points. Just barely ahead of dead last in points, Cole Baker. I believe it's 3 points separating those two. So actually last week, Bern Oliveira moved out of dead last in points up to 37th. So starting to move upward. And a victory would certainly help out. We saw some good performances out of Jovan Anderson in this car last year.
Well, they really had to get on the brakes there. That's going to allow the 4 car to kind of pull away. But say the 9 was really closing up on the back of the 4 car right there. But that could have been draft. You know how the racing packages are here for these 2.5 mile speedways.
Well, it's not only that, but it's very difficult to go multi-groove racing over in turn 3. Everybody wants that one particular racing line. If you go too low, the car gets really tight, drifts up, and scrubs off a ton of speed off the corner. If you go high and you make a mistake, overstep that cushion, you're going to be up into the outside wall. So it's a big risk reward, and a lot of drivers just want to play it safe, running that same middle line. But since everybody is running that line, in the case of what we saw there that last time around with the 9, had to get on the brakes to avoid running over the race leader.
Kyle Matthews is about ran over his teammate right there going into the tunnel turn. And he gave him a little shot there too.
A little bump. I'd be careful doing that there into turn 3. Car can get pretty light, especially later on in the run where that fuel tank starts to get emptier and the back end gets a little lighter.
That's true. I failed to mention this at the beginning of the race, but there are 3 stages in this 40-lap race, 10, 10, and 20, much like last week. And we're already halfway through the first stage. No change in the lead, but Kyle Matthews takes over second place.
That was a perfect pass there by Kyle Matthews. You saw him get right on the left rear quarter panel of his teammate. That pulled the 9 back, and that allowed Kyle to not get tight through the center of the corner either. Was able to propel himself by. Made a good move there off of turn 3 down the front straightaway. You want to show the nose early that you're going to make a pass on somebody. You make that move late, they may not realize that you're going to make a pass and they take away your line. That's usually where we see contact made, and some pretty hard hits can be had over there in that high-speed entry to turn 1. Kyle's got a fast car. He's starting to reel in Fitzwater here off of 3. I think Kyle may have one of the best cars through turn 3 right now.
That's true. He might. We've seen him. We'll see if he can pull out to make a pass here in turn 1, or if he's going to stay on the back bumper. It looks like he's going to try to stay on the back bumper there. Back the corner up a little bit, too. Maybe try to get a better run off of it.
Got it backed up a little too much, but this could all be in preparation for turn 3 again. Get yourself about 3 car length separation from the 4. Get a really aggressive tunnel turn over in turn 2, and then be right on the back bumper in preparation for turn 3 again. Oh, looked like he had to back up the corner again there. On the brakes or off the throttle a little bit sooner than I would have liked. That car might be starting to tighten up here.
That's very true. I'm not sure exactly what the fuel strategies are, or for the laps here in terms of how long they can make it on take a gas, but I guess we're gonna find out here very soon, as Fitzwater again just has led every lap so far in this race.
An eye on 5th place, now maybe 4th place when they go down to turn 1. That's Anthony McCrory. He gained the most spots after last.
That is not Anthony McCrory.
Oh, you're right. That's Reggie Fogelman. My bad. I keep forgetting Anthony.
Man, I was gonna say as many races as you called with
when he won the 500. And for some reason, it just keeps getting stuck in my mind that way.
See, for as many races as you called with me so far, you figured that would have stuck by now.
Well, this is me we're talking about in my old man brain, so.
That is true.
Yeah.
Battle here is Fitzwater is just loving what he's seeing in the mirror here. Reggie Fogelman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Reggie Fogelman, good chance to get some good stage points here. Dylan Matthews, and then the 31 of I believe that is Roberto Crown Jr. Up here, there's Dylan Pote trying to make his way into the top 10 as well.
Our points leader is looming just on the outside of the top 10. I believe that was Allie Rain, or was that Jonathan Zorlin? It was one of the Stuart Haas cars back there that he just made the pass on for 11th. Next car he would deal with.
Well, it was, yes, because then I believe it was Nathan Orman, Orman that followed him.
But he's catching the 24 of Seth Cole, who right now is in the 10th position. So our points leader looking for some more stage points here. He's got about a lap and a half to do it. About 2-3 car lengths he has to make up, as Vogelman got himself clear of Schulenberg, and now he's starting to reel in the 4. So we may have a battle for this stage win.
Yes, that's very true. Keeping an eye here through turn number 3. Oh, here they come on pit road.
Oh, look at this. We're flipping the stage. Who stays out? Was that Sanford? Yeah. How about the Trackhouse cars? Charles Sanford and Trent Dunham.
That's very true. Coming in. Now the question is, are they going to how are they going to be when they come to the line? Because if they're going to come down pit road this time by,
you got to hope you've got a pit stall past the start finish line.
And look at Trent going to make the move. Imagine if Trent can win this stage on pit road alone. But look at the outside lane get a good run, though.
Trying to remember, I don't think any of these drivers started anywhere near the front. They started mid-pack, so I don't know.
Wow, teammates are really sticking together here. Just look at the side-by-side.
Can you stretch it an extra lap?
Oh, look,
here?
99 let him go.
Yeah,
Sanford let him go.
Gave it up.
Because he has to get to the bottom. Let's see, is there anybody going to stay out a third lap?
Doesn't look like it. All right, so does Trent have a pit stall before the start, or after the start finish line, I should say?
Oh, that poor cone. Oh, he doesn't.
Uh-oh. Who's got a stall?
99, Sanford.
Did Charles lead the lap? Yep.
Sanford wins stage number 1.
Trent might be able to get his pit stop done. No, I don't think he'll be able to get his pit stop done to get a, well, maybe.
Well, let's see.
Only got a couple hundred feet. I think he'll get 8th. Yep, he got 8th.
Yep, there it is right there. And the 77, Christina Bell, was the last car to get points.
Nick Gunther got 4th in that stage. That's huge for a driver that was near the cut line.
And there we go. There's the cars going right back by. Now we're a little bit more spread out.
I can't wait to see what happens at the end of stage 2. It's going to be kind of deja vu, I think.
Yeah, it will. Definitely will.
Oh, boy.
We're going to step aside, take a quick commercial break, and be right back with stage 2 here at Pocono. Back here with more action at the Pocono Raceway. The 4-car of Fitzwater apparently had a really good pit stop, because he's pretty decently far out ahead. Probably good, 10 car lengths ahead of the 8. And so on down the list here. As look, some of these drivers merging up here. We're going to have a whole completely new top 10 after this.
Yeah,
here's Saman Oskin. Where did he come from?
I don't know. Somehow he was able to work the pit strategy out. He was able to gain spots. Another driver that I'm also noticing that appears to have been gained some spots there off of that pit strategy was, I just lost them. Where the heck did they go? They were back actually around Sanford. It was Madeline Crenshaw. That's right, the 7 I saw. It actually picked up a lot of spots there. She's up, I think. Oh yeah, there's her teammate Christina Bell right there as well. That got that one stage point with the 10th place finish at the end of stage 1.
See, now this is where we kind of got to watch when they get bunched up like this. This is where a caution could happen.
Well, here's another thing too. I think where they get bunched up is where you have to look potentially at the drivers that might be able to stretch it and get to the end of stage 2 and get those stage points. The field is really spread out now. And I'm not even certain that a driver like Charles Sanford right there, you see the 99, look at the gap he's got all the way up there to Stephen Cullen in the 31, I'm sorry, that's Roberto Crown Jr. rather, in the 31. I don't think, with where he's situated right now, I don't think he can make it to the end of stage 2. I know he pitted a lap later than everybody else, but he's using up so much fuel right now out in clean air, not having the benefit of draft. Everybody was all clumped up, close together, clusters. Some drivers were able to roll out of the throttle a lot sooner since they were kind of boxed in, and I think that's how they were able to reach it to the conclusion of lap 10. I'm going to be surprised if we have any more than maybe 3 or 4 drivers that reach the conclusion of lap 20 to be able to get stage points, even coming down on pit road. I'm projecting that the drivers that came to pit road back on lap 9, they're probably going to be on pit road on lap 18. The drivers that came down pit road on lap 10, they'll probably be on pit road on lap 19. There's only going to be, I think, a chosen few that'll get to the conclusion of the completion of lap 20 on pit road.
And we have a change for the lead. Reggie Fogelman in the 8 car.
He's got a great long run car, I'll tell you what.
He ran down and passed both the 42 and the 4 in one corner.
Very, very impressive there out of the 8. Honestly, I don't think if I come back to pit road, I don't think you change a thing on this race car. And this is going to be interesting too, because you look at a driver like Reggie Fogelman, we've seen him be able to cut his way up to the front. We've got another dual race here at Pocono coming up where if he finishes up towards the front, he's going to start at the back. Going to be fun to see a car that looks to be pretty fast through traffic try to work his way back up to the front in the second duel.
That's going to be very fun to watch indeed. And as you can see, just 4 cars under a blanket, 2 Chevys and 2 Fords. Dylan Matthews up here as well. We talked about him, rookie in the Bud All Pro Series this season. He's already got himself a decent amount of top 5 finishes.
Still looking for victory lane. I believe the only rookie that has won yet this season is Matt McIntyre back at Homestead. But you look at the positioning and points, Dylan Matthews second in the standings. Next highest rookie is the aforementioned Matt McIntyre down in 23rd. So you have to think, despite the fact that McIntyre has a checkered flag and Dylan Matthews doesn't, Dylan Matthews is absolutely dominating the rookie class right now.
Here's another driver on the move. We just talked about him being in that cluster of cars. We have Roberto Crown Jr. He just passed the 9 car and the 6 car like they were nothing. And now look at him pulling away, trying to get to the back bumper of the 24.
Well, remember, Colleague Racing has that alliance with RCR, and we've seen how fast Reggie Fogelman has been here. Cole Deaver's been up inside of the top 10 for most of this race. I think just before that first stage came to a close, he was hovering around 11th or 12th. So it looks like all of the ECR engine-related machines that they're really good on the long run here today. And one thing that I'm really liking with what I'm seeing here is there's a lot of drivers that are struggling in points, and they are utilizing at least this first race to be able to gain spots in the standings. Bern Oliveira, Reggie Fogelman, Roberto Crown Jr., and Samet Ozkan, they're all running up inside of the top 10. Those drivers are clustered 34th through 37th in overall standings coming into today.
So we want to talk about Nick Gunther. Got some stage points there at the end, but he's mired back in 26th place. So it looks like, Seth, if he waits the longest to come to pit road, he could possibly have a shot at maybe, taking the least amount of fuel, maybe tires, and trying to strategy his way, stay up at the front.
And he's in a tough position right now. You look at where he is, Jonathan Zorlin, some of those other drivers that were around him. That is not the position you want to be, knowing what this weekend entails, because if you finish mid-pack, guess what? That means you start mid-pack in duel number 2. So it's almost like you made absolutely no progress from the translation of one race to the other, as Fogelman's getting beaten up on a little bit here. He just got passed by Schuenberg and now under fire from Dylan Matthews. So that's the balance of Pocono. You want to be conservatively aggressive. Do not overuse those Goodyear tires, because if you do, drivers that have saved those Goodyear tires and that grip, they are going to take advantage. And keep an eye on Trent Dunham. I think there was about 10, 12 car lengths between him and the top 4 when the cycle of pit stops was completed. He has reeled them in. It's about 4 car lengths now between him and the 38, and he's bringing some friends along with him. Samet Ozkan, Seth Cole, and points leader Cole Deaver.
Yes, and they're coming up too, Seth. This is lap 18. guess this will be the moment we'll find out if these cars that pit first in that last round will have to come down this time.
I feel like Fitzwater, Fogelman, those
Whoa.
are two drivers that you could expect to maybe see on pit road this time since they've been out in front for the majority of this run. We'll see if it's going to be the case or if they can go that extra lap to lap 19.
I get a 4-car there too. You can see I see no indication of cars coming to pit road this time.
Nope. Not up at the front anyway.
Keep an eye, kind of scroll through the field. Nope, I don't see anybody coming to pit road this time. So
RJ Bishop's,
oh, well,
Pote.
Dylan Pote was on pit road. That could be strategy.
Could gain track position in terms of getting the fresh tires. I don't know exactly what the lap times were that, can we check on the race leader what his lap time was this time around as opposed to his fastest lap time? All right, so 53.5 as opposed to a 52.4. So it looks like tire fall. If we're gonna say that best lap was a little bit of draft, but it looks like there's about 7/8 of a second fall off from the beginning of a run to the end of a run on tires. Pote could gain a lot of spots here with the fresh tires and the undercut. I don't think he was in line for stage points. He was just outside of the top 10. So I like this call. The only problem is though, puts him in a bit of a situation for the end of the race.
Cars coming in pit road this time, including Trent Dunham.
That's everybody. Christina Bell staying out.
Christina Bell staying out. She'll take the theoretical 1 lap to go for stage number 2. It's got the 99 of Charles Sanford, the 10 of Zach Rogers behind them too.
I think Sanford's in line for another stage win, and the reason being, I think Christina Bell's pit stall is before the start-finish line.
Or if he could just make the pass right now. He looks pretty strong.
Yep. Don't remember where Zach Rogers' pit stall was. I think his was past the start-finish line. We know Benjamin Miles was past the start-finish line, so I think the only driver that could be in a bit of a pickle here and may not be up in the top 5 in stage points, but may get still some stage points inside the top 10 would be the 77.
And to think, Seth, we could have possibly 2 more pit stops because there's 20 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, for some of these drivers right here, this may be their second of 3 pit stops today.
Yep, there goes Christina Bell. So Charles Sanford wins stage number 2.
That's 20 points right
Benjamin
there.
Benjamin Miles will get 3rd. Cody Lamas. Oh, sorry. Benjamin Miles got 2nd. Cody Lamas 3rd. And Nick Gunther 4th once again.
Allie Rain, I think, might have been the only driver that joined this second group. Everybody else, well, maybe Dylan Young as well. Everybody else, I think, were originally part of that group that pitted at the conclusion of stage 1.
That's the end of. That's the end. That's it. Your top 10 all on pit road, all done. This is the battle for what's going to be the race lead when these cars all cycle around. And Seth, if we look at it properly, look who might have just cycled back into 3rd spot.
Yeah, but still, according to the projections, going to be 1 lap short of the finish, right?
Well,
you'd have to look at those 12 drivers that just came to pit road at the conclusion. Here's the funny part. If we end up coming to the end of the race, and those drivers, they're going to probably be on fumes. Do you come to pit road and coast down pit road to the checkered flag? Are you going to have enough to sputter out of turn 3 to the start-finish line?
We will see. Sure. We're going to take a quick break, be right back with more action.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
And we are back here at Poconos. We're gonna have a battle for the race lead. Oh, I thought so. He thought about it, but had to back out of the throttle a little bit. But Reggie Fogelman with the race lead. Dylan Matthews right behind him. Trent Dunham cycles back into third. Schuenberg gonna be fourth. Dylan Poteet with his strategy call moves up into fifth. There is Semet Ozcan gonna be sixth. Seth Cole seventh. Zachary Fitzwater back to eighth. And Anthony McCurry up here to ninth. And Carson Gum could cycle around into 10th.
I'll tell you right now, I think for Dylan Poteet, I love the strategy call. He undercut the rest of the field. He took advantage of those fresh tires. Has now moved him up into the top 5, now into 4th position after he made that pass on the 18. The problem for Poteet now is he needs a caution to maintain that track position, because some drivers we've got projected being able to make it the rest of the way on one more pit stop. Some drivers we've got about maybe a lap short of making it to the finish on one more pit stop. Dylan Poteet is anywhere from 2 to 3 laps short on one more pit stop of making it to the finish. He needs a yellow flag to fly to keep what he's got right now. I admire the call. It's a very gutsy call, and he does have a little bit of leverage to be able to play with this type of strategy. 17th in points. But I think he needs a yellow to be able to have this strategy work out.
Well, he just got into 3rd place by passing Trent Dunham, and here comes Semet Ozcan in the 18, going to try to follow suit here. So we've got some new players up here, and, you know, there's one person I still feel bad for. We've been caution-free since the start of this race, and here he is right here. RJ Bishop. Well, it looks like he's
on the tail end of the lead lap, so if a caution comes out, he's back in it, but...
Yeah, but unfortunately for him, I mean, it unfortunate for this race, but could be fortunate if he makes it to the green flag for the next race.
Yeah, that flips him as the pole sitter for the second race.
And Matthew Rodriguez came down pit road one time by himself, I believe, and now here he is back in 37th. There might be some drivers who are high up in the points that says, okay, I feel like I can't get quite up to the front, so I'll sacrifice some points to try to start good for the next race.
I think that's a very good point. Yeah, like I said, you don't really want to be mid-pack in the finishing results here and then start mid-pack in Duel 2, so why not? Kind of throw out the parachute, drop to the back, and get yourself an optimal top 10 starting spot for Duel number 2. Now, one thing I'm a little bit curious about was the fact that we had Trent Dunham come to pit road with the first group of cars. He was one of the drivers that had stayed out with the second pack during the first cycle at the end of the first stage. I don't know if he was in the kind of a position where he had to use up a lot more fuel during the second run there, but now I think that may have taken him out of potentially the conversation for this race win if we are crunching the numbers correctly. As things stand right now, without a caution to completely screw things up, I'm seeing the 77 of Christina Bell having the strategy worked out perfect, where she might end up cycling around as the race leader when the checkered flag waves. The next competitor she would have to worry about, I believe, is the 99 of Charles Sanford, who's in a battle back there. Actually, Charles Sanford, Dylan Young might end up being the 2 that might be the next driver that Christina Bell would have to worry about. Because remember, he also came to pit road with that second group on the second cycle.
Let's talk about a good run for rookie Charles Belding here. Yes. Across the line last in 14th place, battle for 15th honestly right now. So that 15 car putting on a decent showing this week.
Very impressive. 31st in points, did not have a good outing last week. He fell through the point standings, but very, very good run here today for that Rick Ware Racing car.
We had a change for the lead up front. Now Poteet getting to fall back a little bit. Well, you know, what if Poteet were to start trying to save a little bit of fuel, stay out a couple extra laps, and then pit, and then if the race goes green the rest of the way, he could possibly be in that spot too to cycle back around. But it would really depend on if he gets passed by that 77 or not.
It's a possibility, but here's the tough part about it. Yeah, you've got areas of the racetrack where you could throw in the clutch and save. Turn 3, turn 1, turn 2, you really can't save that much. You can bail out of the throttle a little bit there as the tires wear down, but these long straightaways, that's the killer when you're trying to save fuel, because if you give up the momentum on the straightaways, you're not going to lose one spot. You're going to lose 3, 4, 5, 6 positions, and then yeah, you may be able to get back in the same sequence as everybody else, but you're coming to pit road maybe 8th, 9th, 10th of that group, and it's going to be very unlikely you're going to gain those spots back. So I think Dylan's just got to keep going with the strategy call that he's got.
Here he comes.
Pit road again.
I
think he's just got to keep going with this strategy. He's just got to hope that a caution helps out his plans.
Yep, we'll see what happens. He's the only car to come down pit road this time.
With 3 to go till lap 30. So, yeah, I think he's probably 2.5, 3 laps short of making it to the conclusion.
Ooh, RJ getting these leaders are getting very close. Oh, the 8 car really on the back bumper. These two are making it a battle up here. These two have not.
In the air.
Is that
in the air on the back bumper of the 38, trying to get him tight through the center of the corner there, through the tunnel turn.
Maybe hit the intimidator button once or twice.
Could be.
All right, well.
Make the 38 drive into the corner a little deeper than he wants to. Use up those tires. Doesn't matter, though. He's going to come down and change them.
And looks like, oh, different strategy. Now the 42 stays out.
And staying out an extra lap here.
77 going to stay out an extra lap as well.
We had, like, 2 groups on the last 2 cycle of pit stops. We might have 3 groups this time.
RJ Bishop was one of the ones that came down pit road this time, too.
Not seeing anybody. I didn't see anybody from our second groups on the first and second cycle of pit stops on pit road there.
So now Schuenberg and Trent going to battle for the race lead here. Should see them.
Does the 77 and the 99 and the 2, do they stay out an extra lap? 42 probably is going to be on pit road this time, or do they come to pit road this lap as well?
Let's see. 42.
The 1's coming in.
42 to 1. 99.
Staying out.
But the 77 is coming to pit road.
Somebody else stayed out.
The 10 of Rogers.
10?
You got a lot of cars staying out again, too. Qualls, Rogers, the 99 of Sanford. There's Matt Rod getting put a lap down.
So we lost off of this group. We lost the 77. We lost the 2.
I wonder if at this point we could just throw out what we just talked about, because we've had cars coming down pit road that all but had it made. So
yeah.
This is now falling into the lap of Charles Sanford.
Boy, what a day it would be for Charles Sanford in preparation for that second Pocono Duel if he's able to win both stages and win the race. He could probably start in Park Duel number 2. He'd have enough points in the bank.
Nah, I don't think so.
No, I don't think he would do that. But he is running well in points. He's 8th in the standings, and at least with the run he's putting on right now, could be entering into that second Pocono Duel race in the top 5 in points.
See, the maximum amount of points somebody can get if they had won both stages and led the most laps and won the race. Let's see, it's 38 points for winning the race. It's 2 points for leading the most laps. So that's already 40 plus 20. So you're looking at 60 points that somebody can get if they won both stages, led the most laps, led the most laps, and won the race.
Well, he's not going to lead the most laps. That's going to be somewhere between Reggie Fogelman and Dylan Matthews, I think. Probably the 8.
Oh, speaking of Dylan Matthews, he must have had a heck of a pit stop, because he's at least a second, maybe almost 2 seconds ahead of the 8 car.
Those two pitted together, nose to tail. So, yeah, definitely the 38 team, that pit crew rose to the occasion here.
Again, I still believe that this race could fall into the spot of Charles Sanford unless these cars can save enough fuel to make it.
Or unless one of the cars that pitted with Charles Sanford can reel him in and pass him here in these final 10 laps.
I'm not sure really who that would be at this point.
I was going to say it could have been Christina Bell or... Oh, look at this. I think Charles is back in fuel save mode.
Could be.
Oh, but look who's dropping back to. There's the one you got to worry about. The 10 of Zach Rogers. Because he's been on pit road every same lap as Charles Sanford. And James Qualls isn't that far back in the 34. So I think the 99, the 10, and the 34 is the 10 just made the pass. Zach Rogers just made the pass. Now he's in the catbird seat.
Unless like the one race you broadcasted, and these cars can suddenly now make it to the end. Which, I mean, we all know.
Man,
I think
I don't
Dylan
think
Potte's
so.
the only one I think we can guarantee is not making it to the end.
I don't think that any of these drivers up here towards the front can make it. Maybe Trent would be the highest one that is a possibility, because I think he pitted on the conclusion of lap 29. So if he can save a lap, maybe. Same for the 42 of Marcus Schuenberg back there in 6th. They've got a cushion. Both those drivers have a cushion back to Zach Rogers. So I think I would try saving right now. Maybe see if you can gain back that lap that you're lacking at this point in time. But, oh, it's going to be close.
It is. And Semet Ozkin, that 18, has run down that 38.
He's really the only Toyota that we've seen any strength out of here today, too.
Did you see how he drove it into the tunnel turn? He's not saving gas. He said he's got what he's got. Semet Ozkin has been so close to a victory so many times in the Budweiser All-Pro Series, and it just has not panned out for him. Look at the lead he's already gained on that 38.
Yeah, I don't know if, can't remember, I think, did he come to pit road? I think he came to pit road the same lap as the 38 and the 8, so it's not a tire
I believe he did.
But whatever they did for an adjustment on that race car certainly helped it.
Well, unless the 38 took 2 tires. He could have packed it with fuel, took 2 tires.
I don't see why you would do that at a track as abrasive as Pocono.
Well, I was gonna say, because he had such a big lead though.
That's true.
And he's already dropping. He's dropping like a rock right now. So
another driver that was also dropping like a rock was Charles Sanford in the 99 we saw, and not only did he lose what might eventually be. Oh, well, look at
why
this.
do we always? Okay, we were just talking about Charles Belding doing so well.
Is that unscheduled?
Yeah, he's 3 laps down.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I was gonna say maybe he was trying to undercut everybody, but apparently that's not the case.
Trying to see maybe in here we could see something, but we can't. It's I blame you, Seth. Every time we talk about somebody.
Okay, well, if we go back and look in the broadcast, you were the one that mentioned him having a good run, then I elaborated.
It's all your fault. Anyways, so Semet Ozkin in the catbird seat. Shut up. In the catbird seat.
What's a cockbird?
You don't want to know.
Okay. It's a rooster, obviously.
It's a very big rooster. Okay, anyways, back on track here. 5 laps to... Shut up. 5 laps to go. Semet Ozkin right now in the catbird seat, trying to see if maybe he could stretch it.
No, not a chance.
I mean, it would only be 1 lap if he could. I feel like if he could make it to the white flag, I hate to break the 4th wall by saying this, but these cars usually don't come to pit road when the white flag's out, unless it's under caution. So I don't know. I feel like maybe if we get to the white flag, he might. They don't usually come to pit road, so he might push it. So
we'll see, but I don't see it. I think he's going to be about 2 laps short.
We should see Dylan Poteet. We should see Poteet come to pit road in the next lap or 2.
Yep. Maybe right now.
I mean, let's see. Yep, he's looking. Yep, here he comes. So unfortunately for Poteet, banking on a caution, unfortunately was not able to get it, and that's going to take him out of this race.
All right, so I'm looking back for the 10. Like he's got a gap back to anybody else that was on the same strategy. Maybe the 2 of Dylan Young. Yeah. Just now trying to make a pass on Charles Sanford. If Cole Deaver can get up there and put the 10 on the outside, maybe they can freight train Zach Rogers, and that could give Dylan Young a chance.
All right, I'm knocking on wood this time, but Carson Gum, dude won the Daytona 500, has already won another race, and here he is still consistently in the top 10. Oh, look, I'm trying to go the outside. Is the 38 coming to pit road?
I think you're right. I think 38's got the hand out the window. Might mean the 8's on pit road.
Wow, this is early. This is early for a lot of these cars. But it's going to give the lead. Oh my gosh, if Carson wins this race.
Well, he's already got a victory at a 2.5-mile racetrack this season.
I think I believe he's got 2 wins already. This is going to be
got 2 wins, but I'm saying Daytona is also 2.5 miles.
That's true. Well, let's see what it looks like now. Carson Gum, Trent Dunham, Schuenberg, there's Bell. There's the 3-lap down car Belding. There's Seth Cole, Zach Rogers.
Dylan Young making a pass back there on Cole Deaver. Things could get interesting between those Fords, and Sanford's right there still as well.
Matt McIntyre as well. We're just going to have to wait and see what's going to happen.
I think Carson's going to be in this time.
This is really
Trent
early. This is really
stay out
early.
An extra lap here.
This just seems really early for a lot of these cars. Nope, here he comes down pit road. Seth Cole going to stay out.
I don't think he can make it, though. He may get himself a bonus point for a lap led here, but I think he's going to have to pit next time by.
Let's see if there's anybody. Is there anybody else that stayed out? There's Rogers.
Rogers stayed out. Oh, Dylan Young couldn't make it. Now it's Rogers versus Sanford, potentially. Qual's still in the same zip code.
I don't know. Seth's getting some draft off the 15 of Belding. Could that help?
Yeah, but I don't think it's enough. It's too little too late, right? I think if he maybe 3 laps prior had this draft off the 15, then maybe he could make it. I don't think so. I think he's going to have to come in pit road this time.
Well, you've been wrong before.
I have been wrong before, but this is not one of those times. He's backing off right now.
Not more wrong than that one Talladega race you be broadcasting on FRN.
Well, that's true too. We don't talk about that. Here comes the 24, so I'm right.
24 in. Zach Rogers gonna stay out. Here comes the 31 car in.
Ken Sanford reel in the 10, or does Zach Rogers run out of fuel? I mean, projected, these drivers all, when they completed the first and second stages, they were on pit road at the conclusion of the stages. So they should have enough fuel where even if they run out of turn 3, they can coast back to the start-finish line.
We'll have to wait and see.
Zach Rogers looking for his second top 5 on the year, 4th top 10, 11th in points, so could be up inside the top 10 in preparation for the second duel here at Pocono.
Plus, I think might be, the first Stuart Haas car to go to victory lane. He's staying out.
Yes, you would be correct.
So Zach Rogers pulls off the strategy nicely, gets in front of the 99, and Zach Rogers wins Pocono duel race number 1. And
Sanford second after winning the stages. Good run there for Qualls. How about Cole Baker, dead last in points in 4th, and big day for Nick Gunther. Needed this run here off the heels of the dead last DNF last week.
First Stuart Haas racing car to go to victory lane. Look who squeezes by a top 10. Never mind, I lied.
Who is it? I want to know.
I was gonna say Cody Lamas, but then he disappeared.
Thanos snapped his fingers, and the number 48 Ally Chevrolet was gone.
Did. Reggie Fogelman rebounding for an 8th place. I think Reggie might be the most laps led this race.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And even with an 8th place finish, that's still a good finish. He finished ahead of Carson Gum and Sema Oskid in the 18.
Good points day for that 8 car, no doubt about it. He also one thing that didn't work out for him is he didn't rake in any stage points.
Well, that is true. But I mean, it was still a good race, regardless of what happened here. As we were watching, Zach Rogers going to pull into victory lane here as the rest of these cars come down pit road. I'm going to go ahead and export these results here.
While you're doing that, just an observation. We were really impressed with how Dylan Matthews' pit crew was able to get him out ahead of Reggie Fogelman after that 3rd cycle of pit stops. Like they dropped the ball here on the final pit stop. He finished in 17th place. He should have more than likely finished up inside of the top 10 around where Reggie Fogelman was, since those two were pretty much they were racing buddies all day.
It was a very big cluster on pit road, though. We saw a lot of different strategies happen. Like cars pit earlier than we thought they were going to, and I'm very surprised to have seen it happen. You know, we got Sanford, Qualls, Baker, Gunther, Benjamin Miles, Ali Rain, Reggie Fogelman, Carson Gum, Sima Oski in your top 10. But then just look at it go down here. And look, Seth, it's not that Dylan Young couldn't make it. Apparently he had a tire issue.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure what happened there. It could have been a toe link, maybe,
Well, that's
something.
the second Penske car that had a tire issue. Remember, R.J. Bishop had the tire issue off the grid.
That's true. They were able to repair whatever it was for him.
Levi McIntyre for this upcoming second duel.
Yeah, speaking of Levi, finishing 25th here.
And a couple of drivers that really free fell there during the course of this run. Bern Oliveira ended up running up inside the top 5 in the beginning of this race.
Oh, look,
Nathan
there's
Norman,
Cody.
I think. Oh yeah, there's Cody. I think Nathan Norman was up in the top 10 early. Kyle Matthews was battling for the race lead. Daniel Voiles, I think, didn't he get stage points back? I think it was in stage 1, maybe in stage 2 as well.
Yeah, that's 62, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of drivers had some issues that we may not necessarily have been privy to in the second half of this
Dylan Pote
race.
able to rebound to a 22nd place finish. So
Yeah,
I
it's
guess,
not great, but
it's not
better
bad.
than it could have been, yeah.
For real.
Oh, Deaver 21st. The good news for him is most of the other drivers that he was battling for the points lead, they may not gain a whole heck of a lot on him because Dylan Matthews only finished 4 positions ahead. Seth Cole finished 14th. So that was only 7 points that he gained. Carson Gum, he finished 9th, I think, but he was also 36 points back. So he may have cut the points lead down, maybe not quite by half. But he'd be the one that would have made the most gains, probably be second in overall points at the conclusion of this first duel.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, you know, this has been a very topsy-turvy race. This is one of the reasons why I love having Pocono.
Topsy-turvy is the correct term.
You know, this is a reason why I love having Pocono on my schedule. And another reason why I made it back-to-back races. Because it is very fun to watch all this strategy play out. But thank you, Seth. Thank you so much for joining me up here. This was a very fun race, and hopefully I'll see you again for duel number 2.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Congrats to Zach Rogers on that victory. Eye on him in this upcoming second duel because he starts dead last.
Absolutely. That's going to be fun. Points are going to be up at the end of this first video. Then tomorrow, race number 2 should be out for you guys here. I am Michael Norman, the voice of the Budweiser All-Pro Series, saying, until we meet again.